Hey everybody, it's me, Ben Saylor, and welcome to A Studios. Last video I did was dubbing Sonar from Dispatch, and I said in that video I was going to make a video specifically about Dispatch and review. So I wanted to actually do the review, make good on my promises. So here is my review on Dispatch.
JK, I take my meds!
I mean, the cast was phenomenal. Robert Robertson was played by was picked very well for Aaron Paul, and he was just the biggest standout. Also, Laura Bailey as freaking Invisigal was incredible, and such an amazing role she played in that game. Everyone was actually, and there were so many names attached to it. It was kind of hilarious. Like, as I said last video, Sonar was played by Charlie White, and he played it so well, just the tech bro aspect of it. And Jacksepticeye, who played Punch Up, and he did it really well, and it was hilarious. And all of his lines were just really good, and his little details were amazing. It was all of those characters were phenomenal. That was a tribute to Travis William. But yeah, and also Thought Squad as Prism and Young Gravy as Gollum was also kind of really funny to just see, to just have in the game. And when Thought Squad sang it at the bar, it's just such an infectious song. And when I just go back to the bar scene just to listen to that song, and each character was embodied by such a great actor. I was about to say phenomenal there, and each of them helps lend their voice. But a real big one that I wanted to talk about was Jeffrey Wright as Chase, and he is an amazing actor. He played the Watcher in What If, but honestly, this is kind of his most. To me, this is my favorite role that he's done, and he's so good at it, and he's so good at making you feel for Chase, because he has this struggle of, he moves faster than 50 times faster than the average human, but he also ages 50 times faster. So, and it's just so sad. And when he said keep up I think it was the 6th episode, I was like dead silent. And I was like, why? Why do you have to do that? I was so thankful that he didn't die. And it was just and he made me care so much. Aaron Paul and Jeffrey Wright's dynamic in that game was so good. It was phenomenal. I'm going to be saying that a lot just for the pun. It was incredible. Each cast did such an amazing job with the roles, and it was phenomenal. Characters. As I said, each character brought this sort of unique thing, and their voice cast was also just credited to the game's development. But you could also, there's something amazing about each character design, as Sonar's character was this bat, so he's like this creature of the night who's like this monstrous character, and then he's wearing this suit with human hands, and he's just he's super average. I mean, he's not average. He's just a tech pro. He's just what you would imagine as this guy who just blows coke in the bathroom, which he does in the bar fight. But it's such fun. It's so funny. And also Punch Up's character design, where he's the strongest member of the team, but he's the freaking shortest character of the team. Prism's design was also funny. Visigal's design was also great, where she was this punk kid who it just looked so much fun. Malevola, though, her outfit was actually just drawn as like a massive thirst trap, and I did watch a video saying that the design was based off this random Coke commercial, like her outfit was, and then it's just hilarious how then I realized she has these horns. Her outfit is kind of is not basic, but it's still not like the best outfit in the game, but her design is still, she's towering. She's probably like, I'd say maybe like 6'5", 6'6", and I don't know, but it's so fun. It's so funny to watch all these characters. Also, Gollum had a very interesting thing because he attaches anything. Like, if you throw the chair, he doesn't absorb the chair, but it's still very impressive. And also Robert having all the, when he takes off his shirt and like has all this scuffle, is just such amazing. And again, credit to their voice actors. They're all so good at this game, and it's just it's amazing. Like, and seeing these characters, and also I wanted to touch up on something. I was replaying the game with some of my friends, and one of my friends says, and this is a scene with Chase. He says, "Why does that guy look like Black Albert Einstein?" And we go to him because he never saw the gameplay, and we go like, "Dude, Robert said the exact same," and we all had that thought where he looks exactly like Black Albert Einstein. Each character is just designed in such a funny way, and it's just hilarious. And you got to give credit to the designers of this game and the animation on each one of them. Like Prism's like everything she does with her powers is just amazing, and it's just funny. Also, I want to touch up on Phenomenon being kind of like this another Superman clone, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's gonna be evil or something." And he's just depressed, and that was hilarious. And he grew those mutton chops, and it was so funny. He even looked exactly like he had the mustache and everything, and was from a different planet. We were all expecting another Omni-Man, but he's just a depressed guy, and it was hilarious. It was just a fun change of pace where he's just this depressed Omni-Man.
Up, when I get down, when I get down, when I...
Choices. Okay, this is the big one. This is part of a review where I tell you my choices. The first big choice I made was the throwing, like was messing with Flambe's character design, which was big because you either lose a tooth or lose an eyebrows. I chose to throw the alcohol because I knew what the water would do, and I thought, hey, I'll just throw the water on him because he's a douche. I'll just throw the alcohol on him because he's a douche. And then seeing that he keeps the eyebrows on was really funny. The next one was kissing Blonde Blazer. I did that for the obvious reason of why we all did it. But no, I don't know. I think kissing her seemed like something the game wanted me to do, and I kind of just went for it. Like, I know we were both drunk and it wasn't like the best, and I'm not on the hate Blonde Blazer train. I'm not on that. I find her a very interesting character, and I played through the part of where I fell for her, and it was very interesting. And it was very interesting seeing her play the Mandy and just watching all this. It was just a very interesting thing. The next big one I did was it was the cutting which character. I cut Coop, honestly, because looking at her stats and looking at her past history, she straight up murdered people, and Sonar was kind of just this guy who, one of his crimes was cyberbullying. I literally cannot be joking about that. I did not think he was a villain, and honestly, at the end of the dialogue, I don't think he was a villain. I think he's just a guy who's pissed off. I don't even think he wanted to continue working with Shroud afterwards. He's not a villain. He's just not a villain. I mean, at the end, he comes out with this bad scar. What does Coop come out with? She doesn't get any bad formalities. She probably gets new wings or something now that she's back at SDN. Also, plus I chose SDN. The next big one was picking of which love interest, and I'm gonna get to that in a little bit. But for short answer, I picked Invisigal to go on the date with. And I'm not on the Blonde Blazer train, not on the hate Blonde Blazer train. I again think she's an amazing character, but I found, and I know I kissed her, and so there was that whole situation. But I just stayed as like, we were both drunk, and that was my reasoning. And I kind of fell for her because she was more interesting, in the sense she was going through this whole scenario and this redemption arc, and I wasn't doing it out of like, oh, you're going through all this, so I make sure I make the best choice, I'm gonna date you. No, I feel like I connected with her because she's made these big mistakes. Granted, she was planted in there, but in the sense that happened, and I was just like, I feel a real connection with her. Because to me, my logic is, even if someone did something bad and maybe even screwed you over a couple times, people deserve chances. And if you get to know this person, I got to know Blonde Blazer before. I mean, there were theories going around that Blonde Blazer did insert the bomb, and we were all right about that. But even after learning that, I still leaned in, which was another big choice that I decided on, because it's just I decided that maybe it was the best choice, because it feels like she has these issues and she just needs someone to be there for her, and I was willing to be that person for her. I mean, granted, she did punch me in the face multiple times, and a lot of us HR violations, but it was all that, honestly, I feel like her logic to it was out of love. Like when we first talked to her about the mission, she talks to us about how we did such good, like she was supportive about it, like she was actually genuinely happy. And when she caught Thunderstruck, and another one I chose is when they asked, like, did you mean all that stuff you said? I said yes, because I did mean that, because like, she's not a villain because of her power. She's a villain if she chooses to be, if she continues her evil life. And yeah, that was probably the biggest choice. Actually, no, there's two other ones that I believe may have been the other choice. The other one was picking Phenomaman over Waterboy. I know a popular opinion is to pick Waterboy because Phenomaman was the hero. Honestly, in the strategical standpoint, I'd pick Phenomaman. I did know about the depression thing, and even when I did, and I could have replayed it and not have changed a lot, I still stuck with Phenomaman because he's in a really bad place. And I kissed Blonde Blazer, so I kind of feel bad for it. I know I wasn't the cause of their breakup. I know the comics where she just wanted to settle down. But honestly, I don't really mind. I don't find a problem. I mean, no, I feel bad. I felt bad for Phenomaman, and it also worked out in the end, because depending on how you choose. Granted, Waterboy gets low stats, but when I do it, I like stack them up a lot. So that was neat that I did that. So it really doesn't matter which one you pick. You still get both of them at the end. Season 2, we don't know if we still get them. Seriously, where's Season 2? I'm going to be asking that a lot. Where is Season 2? Okay, and then the final choice was that I got, and then the final choice that I chose was either sparing Shroud. Oh wait, no, another big choice I did was either leaning in after hearing that. I already said that earlier, so I leaned in. In my first playthrough, I actually leaned out because, one, I thought we were going to do something, and I didn't know that would cut the relationship. So I was like, wow. So what happened is, like, I didn't know that her pushing her away would. I mean, obviously, now that I say it out loud, I'd push her away from the whole relationship. I thought we were going to. So yeah, those, and then my final big choice was when I had to kill Shroud or spare him. I wanted to spare him because I didn't feel like that would be the good thing. I didn't feel like being that low, stooping to his level, killing him is not a hero move. That's why at the end I got like, your Robert is a hero. You have heroic moments. You always choose the best choice. So I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So I'm glad I got that. Gameplay. Okay, the gameplay was actually it was actually so much fun, because Telltale has a very specific part, and I know this isn't Telltale, it's Ad Hoc Studios. I'm glad that they did something different with this, and as my first kind of like Telltale style game, or Ad Hoc now that people like to call it, because now seems more suitable. It was just such a fun playthrough, and you get to make the decisions, and I go in, and every single time I got like a good one, I'm like, yes, yeah, like you know that scene in Breaking Bad, like that meme of Breaking Bad where Aaron Paul just goes like, yeah, and him and Bryan Cranston with Walter White just go like, yes. That's what I felt like every single time I got a good dispatch, and I was like I was playing with my friend. Like, my friends came over and we played dispatch, and like one of my friends goes, and we get like a perfect dispatch, and we get like, yeah, and I go like, yes, and he's like, you're really into this, and I'm like, yeah, and it's so much fun, and it's just choice, and it's still choices you still make, and it defines. It doesn't really affect the overall story, but I feel like it's just fun in that sense. I believe my best dispatch was in episode 5, the bar episode. And I think that's because I had Phenomaman, and I realized, and it was the second part, and I realized that I figured out how to make him less like you like stop the depression, not stop the depression, but kind of change it. Like he only gets depressed when there's like a failure, so I kind of tried to figure that out, save him for important stuff, put him for important stuff. So I was glad that that worked out. And I got used to each character's sets, and also stats were pretty good. And I was just, it was gameplay overall was just so much fun and such a great addition to not just like picking specific things. So I'm so glad that I got to experience my first ever ad hoc or Telltale game based game choice main game was this game, because there was like more variety to just pushing a button and making a decision. So I'm glad that I got to play it, and it was just so much fun. Shroud. It's not really a Shroud mask, but you get the point. Shroud. Okay, I keep on hearing videos about how he was a fraud, on how he shot Robert's father in the back, and after he got the crap beaten out of him, which I can't say that that Robert Robertson the second actually deserved it, because nobody deserves getting shot in the bullet unfairly. He was a douche, I'll give him that. It was hard to kind of like feel bad for him after he kind of sucks. Like he wasn't even a good father to Robert, and it was just really like and it was like, oh, okay, so that's how it happened. But to me, I feel like the biggest problem with Shroud is that I feel like he was wasted potential. Not saying that his voice actor or the story screwed him over. Matthew Mercer was very good as Shroud, and had such good presence. Like even when he wasn't speaking, and when he did, he was like, oh wow. But his character is that he can predict anything you do. And there were moments where it goes like, wait, shouldn't you have done that if you knew it was going to happen? Like, okay, like in the moment when he gets the astral pulse and he puts it in his head and is like, all of this is just now. I know everything. Why didn't he depict that maybe Invisigal would betray her? I mean, that seems like I would think that's something to like, oh, I put you in there. Like, okay, wait, now that I think about it, she might develop feelings. But I mean, he probably wasn't surprised. I mean, he didn't never had time to reload the gun, but I feel like, being super smart, reload the gun. Reload the gun. I know he had like one shot left, and just reload the gun. It's all that. And even when Invisigal's like right next to him, he can be like, nope. I feel like he could have killed. I don't mind the fact that nobody died. I actually am glad nobody died, especially the love interests. I'm glad about that. But the fact that he just sounds so smart, because he created the Astral Pulse, which I even learned from the comics, and then later on in the game. But it was, honestly, he could have been like a great villain, but he felt underutilized. And if you decide to kill him, he's just gone now. I don't know if maybe in the second season, I depicted that if there is a second season, which I'm hoping, Ad Hoc, I'm looking at you. Where's the second season? I know you guys are thinking about it. What is the story? But no, back on track. If there is a second season, I do depict if you don't kill him, you go to him for like quick information. And I did think of the idea that if you do kill him, you go to Toxic for information. Also, I did think that maybe that in the next season, depending on your choices, Invisigal either becomes a side villain or a main villain, and if you get the bad ending, or they completely create, because the ending seems like it had such divergence. I know that they didn't think about a sequel or a second season, but it's such a divergence. Like you could either get Invisigal becoming evil and ruling Shroud's empire, and then she becomes the next villain, or she doesn't, and then just another villain could take over Shroud's empire, and or maybe Shroud breaks out and still. It's just there's a lot of divergence in this part of the game that you're very curious upon. But to me, Shroud was very well executed, but not well done in the sense he didn't feel like this big threat. Like, he didn't kill anybody. He killed Robert, and he almost killed Chase, but I don't think that was his plan. And for a character who can predict anything, I didn't feel like he was predicting anything, and actually his real predictions came through, which I felt was like, oh, okay, that's all my thoughts. I think Shroud and Matthew Mercer did an amazing job. I think Matthew Mercer did an amazing job. That's all I can say. Yeah, and Shroud was done in a very good way.
I'm a bitch. My name's Robert. Such a bitch whose name is Robert.
Robert Robertson the Third. I'm kidding. Robert Robertson the Third is such an amazing main character, and again, Aaron Paul did such a good job. But the way how he's just this guy who lost everything, and now is trying to build back his reputation, is so much fun, and he has such a great cast of characters to work off of, and it's still you're making all the decisions. I mean, there was a video I did see where if you don't do anything and then these specific, and he picked Blonde Blazer, which I don't mind. She's a good choice. I just not the one I chose. But still, Robert is such a great character, and Aaron Paul did such a great job. He's a broken man who's trying to rebuild his life, and I feel like I'm repeating myself. Not a lot to say about Robert that I haven't already said, but he's just such an amazing character, like a protagonist, and he also uplifts people, like in the scene where he says to the team when they're ideally going to kick out Invisigal was so good. And I feel like that seems just well done. And he really inspires people. Like with the Phoenix part where he says, I see a room of bad guys, and then the Phoenix story about it rising, and you people are I chose you're the Phoenix. I feel like most people chose that because that's way more inspiring, and I feel like you're a dude. And I'm not trying to rip off anybody, but it just seems like the obvious option, because if you want to enlighten anybody, I mean, it even says people will remember that. If you say, like, you're burnt shit, that's bad. He was just such a great character to watch and play as, and I'm glad I got to play as that character. Final thoughts. Okay. I've already said it. The game is a 10 out of 10. Some flaws, maybe just with the villain, and maybe and that's pretty much it. I mean, some characters were underutilized. Like, I'd say maybe Punch Up, Prism, and Gollum were just a little bit underutilized, and not there for synergy. They still had like great moments, like the scene where if you cut out Coop, he's mad at you from some of the game, and I found that really interesting. Malevola was also talking about Malevola. I think we'd all if she was a love option, we'd all agree that we'd pick her, but she felt underutilized. That's the point. I feel like if she was a love interest, we would have gotten to learn more. I'm not saying that she should be that, and that's the reason she should be interested. I mean, there were a lot of female characters that were like Coupe was very well done, and she wasn't like a love interest, but it was just very good. So I'm glad. Oh, by the way, top 3 characters that aren't Robert. Number 1, I'd pick Punch Up. You would probably think I'd pick Sonar, but I feel like I only did that video because of my similar voice strain I can do. The next one is Royd. Royd is just amazing, and he is also. If you do not give fist to Royd, you are a monster. How dare you not bump the glorious man, Royd? He is a man who deserves your fist bump. And then third character, I've probably already mentioned it, Jeffrey Wright's Chase was so good. And actually, he made you feel for something. I'd say that I'm kind of excluding Invisigal and Robert, which I already said, or Blonde Blazer, who I thought were amazing characters, but just to me, basically just favorite was Chase. He was just such an emotionally great character. Royd was just such a fun character to bond with, and Punch Up was just funny as hell. And I think I just my Jacksepticeye I think just because I like Jacksepticeye, and he's just so funny in that role, and I do enjoy Blonde Blazer and Invisigal as characters, though. They are really great. And yeah, that's all my review. I'd say it is the perfect superhero game. It has become my favorite superhero game and my favorite game of all time. So basically, I give it a 10 out of 10. I give the game a 10 out of 10. It's such a perfect game. So, I've been Ben Saylor of Ace Studios.
I'm a bitch. My name's Robert. Such a bitch whose name is Robert. I'm a bitch. Yeah, I'm a bitch. I'm such a fucking bitch.